Disclaimer: the views and opinion of the hosts and resource persons do not represent those of the organization and the university and its stakeholders.
Good morning, Lasal.
This is Writing in Progress, where we talk about the nitty-gritty of writing.
And its progress.
And today we have us as the guests. Because that's right, guys, it's our final episode. And the most fashionable way we do it, scoff. So today we're gonna
It's been a long ride.
We're gonna try to recap today the last 3 seasons that we've had together. Starting with season 1. So in season 1 we had 3 different guests. We had correct. Had A, CT, and we had Theo, who is now named as Eros.
Yeah.
So our first episode we were talking about A, right? And
yeah, we did.
We were talking about what was her experience being the president of the org. Yeah. And I remember one of the interesting things that she was talking about was she had a general vision where she tried to make sure that everyone was happy, and she tried to make her way of her unleashing her childhood dream of just making events after events.
Yeah, I definitely think A's turn as president was, if there's one word that could describe it, it was just plain fun. There was a lot of messy moments, a lot of interesting events, but I think at the end of the day she was able to accomplish that that certain level of fun that she wanted to introduce to the org.
Yeah. I also thought there's something that I kept to heart, which was the drive to make sure that seeing everyone happy is your motivation to keep going forward. Because, for example, there was an event that A talked about, Guild Wars. They weren't able to run it that year, but during our year, I was able to project head that event. And I remember one of my highlights was actually just like walking around the school and seeing everyone just in chaos.
I was a participant in that event.
Yeah, I was like, that was fun.
That was fun. So do you think you were able to keep up to that motivation?
I think it is. And sometimes if I do feel down about like events not pushing through or not having enough people I want, I just like think of the glory days, basically.
Think of the glory days.
That's
interesting.
I just think of like the highlights I've had back then, and then I think like, well, like there's still more. There's like the best has not yet come. You know, I can make better.
That's
we can
true.
make bigger.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. And then in episode 2 we were with Eros.
That was the Eros.
Yeah. We talked about his songwriting process, where I think one of the interesting things that Eros said that he does is he has a quote book, or like if he has like one-liners he likes having, he usually writes it down. Do you usually keep up with that? I used to have something like that, but I lost the habit recently.
I don't like have a quote book per se, because I have a really bad handwriting, so I don't write things down.
That's
if I do have a quote book, because like there are moments when a one-liner just comes to you, or like a one paragraph and comes to you, I do write them down in like a Google Docs type of journal.
Yeah.
So I guess it's more typed down for me.
I do like a bit of both. Like if it's like just a short line I thought it's cool, I would write it in my notebook. If it's like a long plan, I just thought like a long story idea,
like a narrative.
I usually put it in like a Notion file.
So
I'm one of those hipsters.
No, okay, but like Notion is it's aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, it is.
I've not tried it, but I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't fully optimized it, but one day.
Min-maxing Notion.
We
respect that.
Anyway, another thing we asked, which was very interesting, was his inspirations, because a lot of it was experience based. Like, I think he talked about how he had lots of like trauma and problems in his high school days, yearly, mostly because of coming out, etc.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That was, I think, in the moment, I was a very interesting thing because it's like, especially I've noticed that when you have negative emotions, sometimes they come out more raw. In
Yeah,
your
that's
writing.
true. That's because you
And-
get to reflect on it more. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I forgot who said this, but there was a writer, and they said writers only live until they're 20 years old because after that they start writing.
That's
Or rather it was
What?
no, okay, it's
Arc,
not
I
like
am 20. And then,
no, okay, it's not like live in like oh, they live until 20 when they die. No, it's just like they have writers live so much because once they reach 20, that's when they start writing about it. If that makes sense.
oh,
It's like you're an adventurer
Interesting.
your whole life, and then when it comes to it, you start writing.
that's fair. That's fair. Um, Another thing I think Eros talked about, which both of you guys talked about often, was about the fact that you guys wrote about love and heartbreak. I don't know. That was a very interesting thing. Like, there's a recent Scribbles entry. It was also about the idea of situationships, and from what I've heard, it was one of the best quality works that we've had
Yeah,
so
on
far.
the raw pieces.
Yeah, most of the raw pieces, and I don't know. I can see it as a point. Like, I think a lot of times when I just like came out of a relationship, I would have like the most raw emotion,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
then I would
definitely.
I would feel like I have a drive to write about it, but over time it just wanes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's fair.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember this quote by Henry Miller who said the best way to forget about a person is to write about or is to turn them into literature. And I think to
Ooh.
a certain degree that's really true. You're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like again, like you said, Eris and I talked about it in that episode a lot. But I do think that love and heartbreak are two very interesting themes because they're so intense and
Yeah.
there's so many different forms of them as well. Because when you talk
Yeah.
about love, it's not just like
It's
can't-
a very
it's-
complex emotion.
yeah, it's not just romantic love. It can be like platonic love or like brotherly love. It has a wide range, and I think maybe it's also just a Filipino thing. We're very the term is chismoso when it comes to love, and like even
Me?
if none of us
Chismoso? No way.
like even if
Ay.
we like if you go to a random 17-year-old or 18-year-old and they never had a relationship and they ask them about love, they're going to like have so much idea in their head. Because I think Filipinos are just like they're attracted to any topic that involves around love. It's like a moth to a flame.
Real. I think, yeah, and then we have the final episode of season 1, which was with CT.
Oh
Remember-
yeah.
I remember CT's episode was quite interesting because we had like we were chatting about it ahead of time where we wanted to talk about their event called Jamboree,
Yeah.
and I remember listening to this episode back. We talked about it for 5 minutes, then proceeded to talk mostly about CT's origin story of writing, high school drama, CLA struggles.
Yeah.
Kind of all over the place.
Yeah, which was fine. It
remember-
was
yeah,
messy,
yeah.
but it was like fun.
Yeah. I think for me, aside from the jamboree, the two important things I took note from like our discussion with CT was
Yeah.
I think first of all, we had some thesis advice. Our first thesis advice was don't take criticism to heart. Which
Oh yeah, definitely.
real.
Well,
Yeah.
we're both in our thesis terms now. We can actually.
yeah. Like I'm I remember like the first month of this term was really hell for me because like all of my ideas kept getting shot down and I was like,
Yeah, it's.
am I
it's
really
painful.
like, yeah, it's really painful, but like over time, you get thicker skin.
You get to realize, okay, this is subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Currently,
think
I'm dealing with that. It's the whole
Yeah.
reason why we're having this episode online. I'm sorry, Jot.
No, it's okay.
Oh, thesis is a pain.
I mean, that's why I'm in my suit because I have a presentation later.
Good luck, soldier.
So, hell yeah. Anyway, an advice for future leaders. I think that's my second point, which was, I think that CT was also trying to say like, I think similar to A, which was have fun.
Yeah.
Don't forget that like it's not all work. There's also a bit of like you're also there because you enjoyed it. Like hopefully you enjoy the things that you're actually doing. Bro.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was Amelia Earhart who said, if you're not
Yeah.
doing something for the fun of it, then what's the point?
Yeah. True.
Yeah, I definitely think those two, City and A, during their terms of presidents of their respective boards, I do think that's a core idea they really wanted to put. Just being
Yeah.
orgs that were fun and vibey and that people could go to. And I respect that a lot. I think people need that a lot more than what people think or they say they do.
True.
Yeah. And I think the whole theme of season 1 was all about leading in a way, not just because we interviewed presidents, but also with like Eros and his own stuff. They were describing how they lead their life in their own way,
Yeah.
as you can say. I think that's a really important thing. Is everyone, everyone isn't born to be a leader. Everyone's not born to be a follower. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you have to lead your own life and remember to have fun doing it. Because what's the point if you're not having fun?
Yeah. Carpe diem.
Exactly. Seize the day.
Seize the day. Anyway, so I think that's all for the season 1 stuff recap.
Yeah.
So
Season 1 was
I think
good.
now let's go to season 2. Personally, I think I remember listening through, and I've noticed that I think we've had more adjusted energy by season 2. Like
More
we've
adjusted
definitely,
energy.
yeah, like we've definitely got into like the swing of how the beat of how we do things, and we also had a temporary host for season 2, which was Eros.
Yeah.
I think Eros in season 2 also had an episode where we were talking about his behind the scenes of being a DJ.
Yeah, I think this was episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1. I think Eros, like one of the things that Eros talked about was like how DJs are like three things to him.
Yeah.
Like making the playlists, connecting the stories to songs, and lots of yapping. I don't know. I think recently, as I play more video games, I would usually try to create combinations for playlists. So I've also come
like
to love
gaming playlists.
gaming playlists.
Yeah,
Like
those are
I think I've told people my crippling addiction to Stardew Valley. So I recently like made like a playlist filled with like folk songs.
Oh,
So,
that's fun. May I suggest
just-
the Irish Tavern version of the Helldivers OST? Very good.
Ooh, okay, I'll keep that in mind. See
I'll
ya.
send it to you later.
Yeah. And I think Eros also talked about his new show idea, which was the Green Light District, which was
Oh yeah.
NSFW topics in a PG sense. Which I don't know, I love the idea of that because
Very interesting idea.
yeah, very
Bridge the
interesting
two.
idea.
Yeah.
Because he was like talking about how we talk about like censoring, how to keep in mind censoring things on air, which
Oh yeah.
we definitely did in that episode, for sure.
Oh yeah, we
Um,
definitely did. We definitely learned from that episode.
We definitely learned a lot from that episode. And then I think we talked about like I think one of the interesting things we talked about was like I think one of the things that Eros took to his DJ experience was his experiences, because like
yeah.
he noted that 2024 was his year of experience where he did so many adventures, so much things right now.
2024
And-
was a very interesting year to say the least.
it was a very interesting thing because it's like 2024 we were like it's a crazy year, but surely 2025 would be more tranquil.
2024 was, I'm gonna say it like I did with the theme of season, or one of the themes of season. It was a fun year.
It was a fun year, yeah, for sure.
2025, well, we still have a few months left, so
You have like 6 months left, like 5 months
it's
left.
5 months
5 months
left.
left, 5
Yeah,
months
5 months
make
left.
the most of it, you know.
Woo.
Anyway,
Carpe diem.
and then I think one of the interesting things was like as well. Eris was talking about his the segments you talk about like date spots, freedom
Oh
walls.
yeah.
Yeah.
Things that
A lot of it was,
people
like,
would
very-
relate with.
Yeah. As he was quoted to be, he's the good old fashioned lover boy. So
Yeah.
he really like he
I
really
mean,
like
his name
experienced
is literally Eros, so
it. Yeah, Eros, the goddess of love, the god of love.
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, even talking to him now, he's definitely living out his life. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's fun.
second episode was I wasn't there for the second episode, so maybe you could help me with this. It's the world of
Oh,
editing
the second
with
episode.
Mario and Raph. That
But
was
you
an
weren't.
interesting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
was
I
the
wasn't there. I
episode
wasn't
with
there.
the two editors in chief,
Yes, yes.
or the predecessor and the successor. So the second
yep.
episode was very interesting because you have these two people who are almost polar opposites, who share the same experience on the job and the different way of like tackling it from their own point of view. I remember, well, the first viewpoint was the fun of editing, where with Raf, the point of editing is that the world it shows and the world that it can show, where they're focusing on, okay, this is potential, but let's try to really realize that potential. Let's not just keep the
Yeah.
potential as it is. And with Marian, I believe it was all about the collaboration. She enjoys working with the writer as well, not just the work itself. And yeah, that was a very interesting episode. The second part, I believe, the second point was the pain of editing because let's be honest, it is a very esteemed position, but it doesn't come without its hardships. And I think
It's a
they
long process.
both, yeah, it is, especially depending on the kinds of works you guys are dealing with, especially if it's the longer side like fiction and non-fiction, the very prose side. It is a very hassling process, but I think it's quite worth it. And I think they both agreed that there are definitely heavy ramps when it comes to the workload.
Yeah, it's like I think it's very interesting with the Edward and Writer's Guild because it works basically like its own thing. So
Yeah, it's
usually
actually
a lot of
very
the year,
interesting.
yeah, very interesting. For a lot of the year, it operates on its own, where either you're doing nothing, or suddenly the moment that scribbles or doodles happen, you're doing everything, and then like
It's like
especially
college.
yeah, especially with Raph, like for Raph, because I think by term 3, because they only had like one entry, like Nemezine's, I think Nemezine's
Yeah,
hometown.
Nemosine's hometown. I still have the book right
yeah,
here. Actually,
yeah.
let me see if I can show
Yeah,
this on.
Nemezine's hometown.
This is so. Oh no, it's blurry. But yeah.
It's a bit blurry, but it's okay. Anyway, yeah, Nemezine's hometown.
Yeah.
It was like both. It was like both scribbles and doodles at the same time. So it's like
It was
work.
it was a little bit of a thicker book. Yeah, thicker pocket book, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
I
they
think-
also. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a few more points in that because I think that was a very, I guess, productive and straight to the point meeting that we had with those two. So they talk about the fun of editing, what they both loved about it. They talk about the pain, which is essentially really just the workload, and the next one is their favorite works.
Yeah.
And with they both had their individual picks with them. I think what stuck to them most were short stories, and with Raph, what stuck to him most was one of the works of our members that talked about how they used food to imbue their own emotion. And with Marian, it was about how someone had this idea of how AI helps them get less lonely, which is, I think, a very contemporary thing. Quite interesting.
Yeah. I remember listening back to episode. One of the interesting things was, from what it sounded like, both people, both entries were from the same person.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
They were like, because they were like,
damn.
I think Marian was saying like, I think I recognize the style you're talking about because I had a similar person like that, and I was like, ooh, I want to
You
meet
know
this
what?
person.
That is very possible. I think they graduated already
Possible,
though.
yeah. Ooh.
But
Well,
yeah, I think that was a
yeah.
Renz Guild member who was
Yeah.
100% dedicated to the craft of writing.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. I really think that's amazing to be able to have members who, again, guys, this is a very beginner friendly org. It's very you come here, you talk, you try your best to answer prompts, give you work, ask for advice, and I think that's amazing. Be able to be that community based org.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's amazing to have members who join this org and end up having so much potential that they even surprise us. And I think that's a really good milestone. for people and for us as an orchestra, we're fulfilling our mission that is beginner friendly, or that is tries to inspire its own members to be even better. I think that's really nice.
And I think the final point, I think, for a second, was the advice that you guys gave.
Oh
Because
yeah,
what I took note was like they had very conflicting advice.
they were
where I
yeah, there were two different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, two very interesting advice, because I think you said it's supposed to be based from their background, where Marian came from more of a professional setting, then became Edward, and Raf came from just like more
The
of your
ground up.
creative set.
Yeah,
From the ground up. So I think Marian's was like learning how to more communicate with people, like learn like the sandwich method basically. So like learn how to communicate with people better. Don't be too harsh. Like don't be too nonchalant, because lots of these people are like hobbyists.
these
to
are
begin with.
these are people who are
Yeah.
hobbies. They're people who are younger, who are starting out. And
Yeah.
with Raf, I believe he learned from Marian is to have a firmer grasp on
Yeah.
people as well. And I think at the end of the episode, they both learned something from one another, which I think was actually really interesting.
That's good.
It's a
Yeah.
very yin and yang type of thing, where you do this, but you have to have a little of this, and same thing with the other. And another point that they talk about is contextualizing writing, which, of course, at the end of the day, when you read something, it's going to be from a very subjective point of view. But something is not written without the context from the writer as well, from the writer itself, from the author itself. And I think one famous example of this can be seen in The Lord of the Rings. I'm sure you're familiar with the scene "Thou shall not pass" or "You shall not pass."
Yeah.
Gandalf and the Balrog, the fire demon. Did you know that there's a reason that the Balrog is a fire demon? Is because Tolkien served during the World War One, I believe, and he was on the fence where fighting the Germans, who were using the flamethrowers for the first time in a war setting, and Tolkien's whole battalion was to make them not pass this boundary. Hence why you see this in fiction, in that scene where Gandalf says, "You shall not pass" to the fire demon, because that's actually what happened to Tolkien in real life. And I think being able to contextualize that, being able to turn an experience into fiction, is great. And appreciating what the author wrote, not just in a subjective point of view, but what the author had in mind, is also very important. I think that's something overlooked every now and then.
Yeah. And then the final episode of season 2, I think moving on, was thesis advice, and the differences between the thesis between yours, mine, and Sumi's.
Yeah, because we
Because-
all come from different backgrounds.
I also think what was interesting, at least looking back now, is also the difference in the amount of people, because Sumi, like creative writing, they're all like solo.
Yeah.
So like I think from what it sounds like, their pre-thesis starts like a lot way back, like since like their year 1, they start thinking about that.
They need to have an
And
idea.
because of that, yeah, they have extra time to like try plotting it out, outlining it, so that they could easily make it their solo work. And then yours, if not mistaken, is like a small group, right? Like how many?
Yeah,
are
it's a
you?
small group. We're 3 to 4 members, but I do believe some groups can be 5 members.
Mm,
It really does
Okay.
depend. And yeah, we don't have a pre-thesis because we're very
Mm.
we're very close to the academe course. So most of our subjects do involve thesis writing already, and a thesis is just supposed to expected to be mastering it essentially, while having your own idea. Because an idea in psychology can be very generic to be very specific, and as much as possible try to be specific. And yeah, I think actually hearing about the way thesis goes in psychology, and how we're about to enter that, it's pretty different than what I thought thesis was. And then hearing about what thesis is in creative writing is very different, and with you
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms is different, right? I think at the end of the day, the thesis is essentially just what your courses mastery is and how you have to deal with it. So.
The thesis is the friends we made along the way.
Or the friends we break along the way. That's what happens
The
in
friends
thesis,
we lose along the
unfortunately.
way. From what I've heard, I mean, like yours is like, Shumi's like 1, yours is 4, mine is 6 people. From what I heard, a lot of like friends are broken in thesis.
Yeah. It's either it
adds to
solidifies it
stress.
or it.
Yeah, either you guys are blood brothers for life or like
You guys blame
sworn,
each other.
sworn enemies.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that does happen, but
Yeah.
that's life. And taking the advice we had from our very first mention of thesis in the entire Working in Progress series is that try not to take advice or criticisms to heart. And I think a lot of people need to hear that.
Yeah. There's a lot of like, I think there's a lot of things in thesis. Like, I think you could agree. Every person has their own perspective of how they could improve your work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to take note of what people say, but also keep in mind what you think is right about the thesis.
You have to keep the original idea.
Yeah.
I think.
Here's an interesting question. One of the things we asked, I think, in the episode was, how do you know if you think it's perfect?
Oh God.
Do you have a new answer to this question?
How do I know if it's perfect? I think. Okay, this is from a very academic point of view. For having 2 PhD holders as my mentor and my panelist, it's you're definitely never going to know if it's perfect until you ask someone's advice until you ask someone who's not your groupmate to tackle it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to think, okay, I'm a master at this topic, I've done the research, I've done everything, and you think it's fine, but then you realize there are a lot of things where you're going to need someone else's point of view to be able to better yourself. And I think at the end of the day, I think humans in general humans are very social beings. I think that translates as well into the works we do, be it as a group work or an individual work. I think at the end of the day, people need other people to help them on their own to help them on different perspectives. Because at the end of the day, an individual only has their perspective, and if you want something to be objectively good, you're going to need more than just your perspective. You're going to need the perspective of people who are masters in the topics or the such. And yeah, it's interesting. It's a little bit of hassle on how things are done professionally, but at the end of the day, it's you're allowed to complain about it. You just have to make sure that you get the work done.
Yeah. Complain about it, but as long as you're actually doing it, then at least you have a right to complain.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you talk crap about this for like 1-2 minutes, and then okay, I'm gonna do it. Because
real.
no matter how many obstacles you have in your workspace, academic space, or even in life in general, the important thing to note is that you just have to keep moving forward and hold on, you know?
Real.
It's like the Avril Lavigne song, Keep Holding On.
Anyway, I think that's all for season 2. Do you have any like
season
overarching
2
summary?
I think season 2, the season 2 theme, I think was a lot about it was
it's a bit all over.
It is a little bit. Oh no, okay, I got it. I think season 2's theme was trying to be better. Because from episode 1 of Eros entering the DJ world and their own experiences to episode 2 where we talk about the editing process of our editors-in-chief to episode 3 where we talk about thesis and how we're all trying to get by and do pass. I think trying to be better would be a good summary or an arcing theme, because at the end of the day, that's all we're really trying to do, right? Trying to be better in our crafts, in our studies, in our work, and trying to be better as human beings in general, trying to be the best that we can be.
I think for me, I was looking back as well. I've noticed in our conversation, another thing to important note was all of us went through different processes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like example, I think Eros's process was like he entered a new adventure of his life. Like if season 1 was talking about taking the lead, season 2 was the adventure that he
Yeah.
took, in the hero's journey, where we all of us took
Oh, that's
different
good.
different things, like different write different things of writing we had in progress.
Hey.
So like example, Eros was like the process of being a DJ. Like Marian and Raf both entered the journey of being the ed board, like the editor in chiefs, and then us right now we're going through the journey of thesis. So
Yeah.
it's
This is
all
the
different.
fight scene in
Yeah.
an anime.
This
or
is- This is the
D&D.
progress in writing.
This is
in
the progress.
This is the
Ooh.
progress. Ooh.
Ooh,
And
that
I
was
think,
good.
yeah, and I think the final episode final season was season 3.
Season 3.
I think the first episode we have is with Miss Bell?
Miss Bell, yeah, our org's facilitator.
Wait, I think it's Miss Bell. They're very interesting because Miss Bell, because originally we were supposed to have it. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just checking our documents.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
sir. It actually, I think in the order, I think Miss Bell is gonna be second, so we could talk about the TTRPG first.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
The RPGs.
The TTRPG episode. I
Yeah.
think it was a very interesting because I also tried cutting out a bit of it that episode.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a struggle, like at the first glance, because
Oh.
I'm trying to talk about the mechanics of games and the writing of games.
Yeah.
I think one of the interesting things I noted was how you can create something. Is it how much you can still write even with so much mechanics and rules in games and board games stuff.
Yeah.
Like example, I think we talk about Pathfinder and D&D there. There's a lot of different rules and mechanics there that make the game sounds rigorous. But as Toshi said, even white bread can turn into a beautiful sandwich. So you just need to know how to stack it correctly.
Yeah, you have to be able to learn the rules a bit and then be creative enough to find loopholes how to break it to make a
Yeah.
fun adventure.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I think it
that's
was Pablo Picasso who said, "Learn the rules like a pro, so that you can break them like an artist." And I think
real.
that applies to RPGs, because there are a lot of rules when it comes to tabletop RPGs, but at the same time you hear so many stories of how players legally break the rules, find loopholes, and how these turn into such interesting adventures.
Yeah.
And I think the writing behind that and just the thought process, one's imagination is amazing.
It really is. I think another highlight we were talking about, I think in the episode, was also how much is made in the moment versus how much is made ahead of time.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised where he said very little was pre-prepared, which makes sense because
On the
looking
spot.
back, because there's a lot of things that ends up happening on the spot that I think no one could really plan
Prepare
ahead.
for. Yeah.
Prepare for. Yeah, it's very interesting about that process. I think we can now move on to our next one about Miss Bell.
Oh yeah, the second
yeah.
one was one with Spell, our org's facilitator.
Miss Bell's episode was quite interesting because we were supposed to put in season 2, but
yeah.
I think we had some they had some
Technical
editing
issues.
technical issues, so we're moving it to season 3, and we moved it to the season 3. I'll be honest, I'm happy that we repeated it.
Yeah, I think it was a lot more
Yeah,
raw and unfiltered.
yeah.
That makes sense.
I like the episode more as well because we focused. I think originally supposed to focus on the publishing process, but we focused on something that's not really shown in Writers Guild, which is the poetry.
Yeah, because a lot of people who enter Writers Guild actually I think most of our members write prose, fiction, non-fiction,
Yeah.
narratives, different. Even some, I believe, write script writing. So different kinds of writing, which we all accept. Writers Guild is very friendly and open to anyone who would want to join, and whatever style you guys write in. But yeah, poetry isn't something that is commonly seen in Writers Guild. I think we have the least amount of people who submit, more or less. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But I really, especially with like how Miss Bell writes, because I remember her specialty was haikus, if I recall correctly. So I don't know. It was interesting how she likes the restrictions of a haiku, and I think similar to Toshi's episode where like how they learned the rules of the game, so now they're trying to break it.
Yeah, they're able to utilize and then break it. Yeah. When it comes to poetry, as someone who like writes poetry himself, I think again, one of the reasons why I love it is the rawness of it. Like in the moment, you can be feeling such heavy emotions, and sometimes the words just come to you and it lets out. And I think Miss Gabriel felt something similar when she discovered haikus and how beautiful they can be.
Yeah. But I thought an interesting thing as well with Miss Bell was, I think we talked about it a lot of times, how experiences, like even the sadder ones, create like the most raw emotions.
Yeah.
And I think Miss Bell, looking back at that, focused on one of the most raw emotions, which is love.
Yeah.
Where, I think looking back now, like the book was dedicated to her
Her late fiance.
like her late fiance. May rest in peace. Very interesting concepts.
It was. I do think there's this correlation between sadness, madness, and art. And sometimes art is not sometimes, actually most of the time, art is a reflection of that, because I believe not just poetry, but be it visual art or the art of writing, art of spoken word. I think at the end of the day, people who let out these emotions decipher the words that their heart wants to say. I think it's something beautiful. It's very melancholic. It's very beautiful.
Very beautiful indeed. I think we can recap season 3 and then go through our
through all of
final
the
thoughts. Yeah.
Season 3. What was
I
season
think-
3 for
okay,
you? What do you think?
If season 1 was trying to step up and season 2 was the progress, season 3 is like the mastery, where you learn the rules of the game and now you're trying to break it.
Yeah.
Miss Bell learned the rules of like haikus and poetry, and she's now trying to like express it and master it in her own forms.
Yeah.
And Toshi learned the rules of like the different TTRPGs he plays, and he's trying to like make it more interactive for his players.
Yeah.
And I think we learned a lot in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
God, 2 years. And
This for those watching. This working in progress podcast is the brainchild that Jot here and I had talking one day, and he was like, "You know what? We can do that."
yeah. We were yapping so much that we were like, maybe we should try hosting some of this. You know?
I
It'll
think
be really
for better
fun.
or for worse, it worked out.
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah. It was interesting. Okay, so back to the question. Season 3 Master. Yeah, I think Mastery is very interesting. Also, I think Reflection. Oh, well, yeah, okay, yeah, Mastery. And going through all the seasons, wow, we were a little bit younger when it started. Yeah.
I would say, I don't know. I've listened to season 1 and season 3, season 1, and then now going to season 3. I feel like, hopefully it was seen, but I feel like I learned better in trying to actually hold a transitionable conversation. Like,
I think it's not just that. It's also 2 years, man. 2 years is a long time, and I
2 years
think
is a long time.
like that's around the same amount of time I've known you as well. And I think this podcast is a somewhat physical manifestation of your own character development, which I uphold, I think it's pretty amazing.
Mm,
And
thank you.
maybe have a round of applause for Jot there. But yeah, hearing the stories from these people, the way their minds work, the way their values, what they believe in, affect the things they do, what the things they write, in the many endeavors they have in life, be it in college, outside of college. It's really interesting to see how much work people put into their crafts and into what they
Yeah.
do. And I guess you can say everyone, and to a certain degree, is a work in progress.
I think it's a journey, not a destination, and
True.
I feel like even if sometimes rushing things would create like some amazing results, I feel like taking your time and like learning like the different nicks and problems that your journey undergoes actually is one of the more fun parts about writing as well.
Yeah, sometimes the best things are a little bit scuffed.
Yeah, like this call. Anyway,
Like this call.
Like this
Again,
call, hell
I
yeah.
apologize for my thesis
It's okay.
priorities, but
I mean, this is hella
I
stuff. I'm in a classroom, so
I think we were able to still have a really good conversation though.
yeah, I think we
Do you
did,
think
we
so?
did. I hope so. Oh my gosh, guys! Can you please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you
Tron Writers Guild. Yeah.
Good Writers Guild, guys. You are a
Um,
Lasallian, and you still have a couple years in your belt. Good Writers Guild. Anyway,
If you guys need a little bit break, break from your
Yeah.
ACA, just vibe, enjoy,
yeah,
have some fun, interesting,
Yeah.
and maybe a little bit scuffed conversations like me and Jot here are having.
yeah.
It's an adventure. It really is.
What? I mean, also another curious thing. I think I'm pretty much satisfied. I don't think I'll make any more episodes. But what are your learnings in making podcasts? Like,
What my
if there's a
learnings in
future
podcasts.
generation of like people who want to make podcasts on this YouTube channel, what do you think you're gonna add to it?
To the future Writers Guild members out there who we may or may not meet someday. If you guys want to continue our little brainchild here.
Learn how
Uh,
to schedule.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Scheduling in college, scheduling in LaSalle. Ooh, woof.
More
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
Learn how to schedule. There's always going to be a lot of things happening, be it your own schedules or
yeah,
but I think one of the things about podcasting I've learned is that just be. It's gonna sound like such a cliche, but be yourself
yeah.
and just enjoy the conversation you're having with the other person opposite, on the other end of the call or on the other end of the recording table. I think if you're enjoying what you're talking about, enjoying the whole thing, I think it will come out
Yeah.
quite nicely. Again, we use the word scuffed a little bit, but that's life. And I think the whole thing about this podcast is that we wanted it to be our tambayan, our virtual tambayan,
Tambayan,
where
yeah.
you get the vibes, you get what Writer's Guild is kind of like, the vibes, the friendships, the connections, and the inner workings of people there, and just bring that to you guys, to anyone who's listening right now. And I think I'd like to think we achieved it.
I think we've achieved it, naman.
Yeah.
I think another thing to add to what you said, it might sound a bit hard, but obviously practice makes perfect, like you might sound a bit tense in the beginning. Like, I think, for example, you could see how I was in the beginning of the seasons. You could sound a bit tense, but over time, as the more episodes goes on, hopefully like that fear would go down, naman.
Yeah,
Like-
just relax. It's like listening to the radio,
Yeah,
It's
listen to the radio.
listening to the radio, and they're talking, they're having a fun time listening to music,
Yeah,
and they're
As
talking.
long
And
as
this is what it's supposed to be like. It's
Yeah.
essentially that.
make sure that you're having fun, like
Yeah.
if you're not having fun, then how can you not be tense in this
Yeah,
situation?
exactly.
Yeah.
like this right now. This is more or less the way me and Jot talk like to each other outside,
Yeah.
just as friends. Yeah, and I think just being able to capture that is it's fun. It's interesting. It will attract the right audience.
It will. It will. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Final words before we head off.
Like you said, practice makes better because nothing's going to be perfect. And guys, it's been 3 seasons here, and I have not perfected our intro or outro yet. It's iconic, yeah, but I want you to know all of those took multiple takes.
I don't know how many takes our editor's gonna keep, but this is our intro was the 3rd take, guys. Like,
yeah, the one for this specific episode was the 3rd take.
We practiced it for 2 years, and we're still this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't worry about that.
Nothing's going to be ever perfect in life, and the moment you accept that and learn that there are pros and cons to both the joys and sorrows, life will be so much easier.
Yeah. I think for me, I thank you very much for listening. I hope your writing has progressed to a better form.
Yeah. So
Tune in for more. We also have a Spotify that hopefully will be released by the time that this episode's out. So tune in for that if you wanna listen to us in ASMR version. Anyway.
ASMR. I think that's it.
I think that's it.
We did. So outro
Alright.
3.
See you next time. See you when I see you in writing in progress.
And we hope your writing has progressed.
Alright. See ya.
See you guys.
Bye.